country. If I had to travel the world to fight, then so be it.
It's their levels and their stars and superstars. Okay, and they made the championship, not the championship made them.
This is it, the dream fight that fans have been waiting for. And it's finally occurring after years of criticism, deflections, and what some call brazen ducking. Canelo Alvarez is finally walking into the ring with the pound-for-pound king, Terence Crawford, but it wasn't announced gently. Instead, they began with a fight that shook the boxing world.
It didn't just get announced quietly. Nah, they kicked it off with a face-off that shook the boxing world.
Well, here you go.
Two of the most dominant fighters of this generation. One ring, one massive legacy on the line.
The one thing about Crawford is he got guts. Them bums ain't have no guts. Them bums didn't want to win. Crawford want to win. That's it. It ain't about no belt. It ain't about nothing. You didn't sign the contract. We want to win, and he want to be the best, and he is the best. So that's what's going to be the difference. You know, Crawford got guts. He got a fighting spirit. So when you see Crawford, he going to go in there and get busy with Canelo. Don't you even doubt that. You understand? You ain't never seen Crawford stay on the back foot in no fight in his life. You understand? He the type of guy to go get you. So expect him to go get him. We going to do everything we can to him. We going to do whatever we got to do. But one thing you can expect is Crawford is going to step to him. Because you can't beat Canelo going on the back foot forever. You got to go get him. You got to do something. And he better know Crawford is coming.
Let's talk about the moment that made the internet go crazy. Crawford and Canelo's first fight. It took place soon after Canelo's overwhelming win over William Skull. The Mexican hero was still drenched in perspiration, gloves off, grins fading, and Terence Crawford entered the ring like a man on a mission. You could feel the worrying. No security, no phony grins, just two alpha dogs staring each other down, inches from history. Crawford, calm and controlled as always, simply smirked. Meanwhile, Canelo's body language signaled, "You're in my house now," and the crowd at the MGM Grand went nuclear. Fans were split down the middle, with some yelling Canelo, Canelo and others roaring but, we haven't seen this kind of excitement since Mayweather. Let us be clear about Pacquiao. This is not simply another big fight. Crawford has wanted this battle for years, but has been openly and regularly calling out Canelo since he stopped Errol Spence Jr. and became the undisputed welterweight champion. But Canelo has always used the excuse, "I won't come down in weight. He's too small."
I can't go down anymore. But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, you know, he need to enjoy his fight. Okay, he deserves it. He deserves it. I like Spence, but you know, I like Spence and all the respect for him and everything. But I knew. I think is the type of fight Terence Crawford is different. 168, but like I say, like he say, nobody's gonna give me credit for that.
Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, Crawford was stacking bodies and compiling a CV that made every justification look weak. He's moved from lightweight to junior welterweight to welterweight, and now he's set to enter the super middleweight level.
Every time I see him, he'd come and be like, "Canelo."
You know how Billy do it too,
Every time, I'll be like, "Man, come on, man."
Yeah.
So every time he say that, you know, I just be like gradually getting into like looking at it, like okay, and he's not that big, you know, he heavy, but he not that big,
right?
You know, and I'm just like, all right, I'm laughing, but at the same time it started hitting me like, all right, man, maybe he on to something, you know. And then I started sizing him up, and I'm like, all right, well, Canelo 5'7", you know, my arm's longer,
yeah.
He's strong, I'm strong,
right?
You know, it'd be, to me, skill for skill,
right?
You know, because Canelo not the biggest 168 fighter, so I just started looking into it, and I'm like,
no more dodging because Following Canelo's most recent victory over William Skull, the fans wanted something greater, and Canelo felt he couldn't wait any longer.
I've been beating up big dudes all my
Cause they underestimate your bud.
It's just, even if they didn't, I'm gonna beat you up. You know, I can fight.
Right.
You know, so if you watch, like, all these dudes bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't care, but I'm gonna find a way to win, no matter what.
In September, are you gonna pull this? I shook up the world. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely gonna be, you know what I mean, one of the moments, you know. I need the doubters to fuel me. What you think he'll do if he go up 2 more weight classes? I need that, you know, because that's gonna make me more focused and turn into a different animal. So I need the people to say, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not.
Guess who was making all that ruckus every time? Canelo dodged Crawford, none other than Oscar de la Hoya.
William who? Canelo versus William Skull. William who?
Oscar being back in New York over here.
No, let's just say Canelo Crawford, in the history of boxing, and this is the facts.
Let's get it.
If you see Thursdays, Fact Thursdays, I speak the facts. All right, I'll even do it for you. A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, and this is the truth again.
He and Canelo have a long history of hostility, which has only gotten worse since Canelo left Golden Boy Promotions.
Company you fought under for decades has always had one name, and it's mine. So put some fucking respect on it. As for Jaime, he has always dared to be great, just as he's this Saturday night, of a full circle for him. Remember when Jaime...
So, when Canelo finally walks into the ring with Bud, Oscar will be there to support Crawford all the way, because, let's be honest, there is nothing De La Hoya wants more than to see Canelo lose.
Cause, let's be real, there's nothing De La Hoya wants more than to see Canelo catch an L.
But Crawford doesn't rely on his power, he relies on his IQ. Crawford, what he did to Spence was magic, was incredible, was amazing. And so, look, one thing about Canelo is that we all know that he walks in the ring as if there's wet cement, right? His footwork is a little too heavy. Crawford is such a smart fighter where he can he's like Bruce Lee, literally. And he's in his peak, he's in his prime. And so I think that if that fight ever happens, which I don't think it will, if that fight ever happens, I have to go with Crawford.
Okay, you have it. Oscar De La Hoya talking about Crawford.
Let us return to what got us here. Canelo versus William Skull.
Canelo fans, please pray for Canelo. He's about to fight William Skull in Saudi. Pray for Canelo, bro. Pray for Canelo, bro.
Bro, but don't you get it? Canelo will never lose because Turkey needs him to win.
Yeah, he's not gonna lose.
There's no way Turkey gets his Crawford fight if Canelo loses, so that's not happening.
It's a deeper, darker criminal link. I don't trust it. Pray for Canelo, man. Turkey might say, yeah, you was talking all that shit when I was first trying to get you. Now look what we gonna do for you. We got you in Riyadh. Let's get that L up off you. And you still got to fight Crawford.
Skull came undefeated, highly regarded, and eager, but it was clear from the first round that he was not on Canelo's level. Canelo simply stood in the middle of the ring, took his time, and broke Skull down like he was doing cardio body shots, uppercuts, and cutting off the ring like a pro. He made it look smooth. At moments, it appeared like Canelo was just getting rounds in.
How are you feeling after your great performance tonight?
Oh, I feel great. I win, you know. I come to put a great show, but you know, to put a great show, you need both fighters. So, but at the end of the day, win is a win.
Are you frustrated with William Skull?
Yeah, a little bit, but.
What did you say to him at the end of the fight?
I say to him, you know, you just come to, you can not win a fight like that, fighting like that. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, it's my first time and I just tried to put a good fight and I'm so sorry. That's fine.
How are you feeling after your great performance tonight?
Oh, I feel great. I win, you know. I come to put a great show, but you know, to put a great show, you need both fighters. So, but at the end of the day, win is a win.
Are you frustrated with William Scott?
Yeah, a little bit, but.
What did you say to him at the end of the fight?
I say to him, you know, you just come to, you can not win a fight like that, fighting like that. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, it's my first time and I just tried to put a good fight and I'm so sorry.
It ended in a wide unanimous decision. And while some spectators were unhappy by the match, they had no complaints when Crawford invaded the ring. That moment transformed what looked to be another busy bout for Canelo into the greatest news of 2025. So here we are. The fight is finally signed. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford will take place later this year, with no catchweights, tune-ups, or politics.
When did it come to a point, how long ago was it for yourself when you realised that the Canelo Alvarez fight is a possibility for you?
Just you know what I mean, looking over the landscape of boxing and the opportunities and the accomplishment that Canelo had and, you know, sizing them up and things like that. I know we ain't never been in the ring before, but, you know, it's a great opportunity for me in my career.
And that idea of yourself of chasing greatness, inside, how much does that excite you over that, with it all together, our idea of chasing greatness? It's always something you've done, to do that sort of stepping up in weights. How much is that an exciting proposition for you?
Oh, it's very exciting. It's like throwing gasoline on a bucket of fire. You know, I'm very competitive, and I'm looking to be competitive in a fight in September.
Crawford is going up to 168 pounds to face one of boxing's most dangerous boxers, which is why this fight is so insane. This isn't just about belts or heritage, it's about daring to be great.
I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't do
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not.
Kovalev was older. And he does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo going?
Tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more. Try to get the fight even more. And I'm watching him, I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. I've been fighting people bigger than me all my life, and I always came out on top. You gonna get hit. It's a fight. He gonna get hit too. It'll be good.
Canelo has clearly been the king of the super middleweight division, undefeated. He's had fights with John Ryder and Jermel. Respect to Charles Edgar Berlanga and William Skull, but let's be honest, neither of them is Terence Crawford. Let's discuss what this truly means for Bud Crawford. This is more than just a weight gain. It is a jump into the lion's lair. Canelo has been facing killers since he was 168, and his strength has changed even at 175. Simply ask Caleb Plant. Crawford, unlike Billy Joe Saunders or Sergey Kovalev, started at 135 pounds. Let that sink in. He's going up 3 divisions from lightweight.
Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jermell Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of his life, and he kept coming. He wouldn't go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Apollo couldn't do it and lost fight number 2. Trained him for fight Rocky 3 and then got killed in Rocky 4 by Drago because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go. Too small.
A lot of pros are worried about him. Some are questioning what happens when he gets a clean Canelo shot to the ribs or chin. This isn't Spence or Porter, it's Canelo, the face of Mexican boxing. with knockout power in both hands.
That's my biggest concern when it comes to Terence Bud Crawford, when people, for some reason, keep mistakenly comparing him to Floyd Mayweather when it comes to being an elusive fighter. Terence Crawford and Boots Ennis has a similar approach to boxing. They are boxer punchers, and it's because Terence Crawford was too big and too strong for most of the opponents. He was too athletic, too. Foot speed, hand speed, just too accurate. Physically, probably the best athlete in the boxing world. He does the same thing, which is why he's been dropped, which is why he's been rocked, which is why he gets hit a lot with consecutive punches. You saw him get Madrigal, you saw him get David Hamid. You saw the type of punches he was getting landed on from Showtime Sean Porter, right? Because he's used to bullying cats. And that's what I'm concerned about with him versus Canelo Alvarez.
But here's the twist. Crawford has done this before. Every time he goes up, people say he's too little, and he always wins. He didn't just beat Spence. He embarrassed him and made it look like a sparring match, and Crawford is now bigger, stronger, and more dangerous than ever. So the question is if that ability and IQ can translate to 168, or if the weight will be too much.
Terence Crawford has had one fight above 147 pounds, and everyone, including Terence Crawford, will tell you that was not his finest performance against Israel Madrigal. He is older than Canelo, he is coming up in weight, he is coming off a long layoff. I can't look at Canelo Williams' school and say, you know what, Canelo is too far in a decline to beat Terence Crawford. Not until I've seen what Terence Crawford looks like at 168 pounds.
No, same here. And even though we could see Canelo Alvarez diminishing, we're still going to favor him because he's been in there with the bigger, stronger men. Crawford's not going to be able to hurt him. Crawford will be able to pepper him up, win rounds. Like I tell you, I have an image of Canelo Alvarez after the fight. He's going to be bloodied and bruised because he's going to get pot shotted. He's going to throw 2-3 punches, pepper him up, and then get an angle. Then once Canelo starts realizing I'm falling behind here or I'm getting hit too much, I gotta do something great, that's when Crawford's gonna have to get on his fight.
Not to mention the claim that Crawford does not have the same caliber or resume as Canelo, which might have a direct impact on how this fight plays out.
There's no Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ.
Yeah, but Bud is an elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer, but you haven't fought elite box.
Let's talk about views, because the boxing community is divided. Edgar Berlanga put it plainly, skill for skill, Bud wins, but it all comes down to the weight difference, which favors Canelo.
My good friend, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't count him out. You know what I'm saying?
Sean Porter is apprehensive about Canelo entering this fight against a much stronger and larger opponent.
The others say, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So,
however, let us zoom out and look at the big picture. If Terence Crawford wins this fight, he will go down as one of the best to ever do so, period. This is the end of the story. Undisputed in both weight groups, beating Canelo at 168 is Hall of Fame on drugs.
Along my career, I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments just off of pure hate. So what would they be able to say with me going up 2 weight classes? If Canelo become undisputed again and I beat Canelo, what could they say? They'll say something, but what
they're gonna find something, you know that.
But what can they really say?
Right.
You know?
And if Canelo wins, he disproves every doubter who thought he was ducking Crawford. He reminds everyone why he is the face of boxing, not just Mexican boxing, but boxing in general. This is more than just a fight, it's heritage versus legacy. Crawford and Canelo are at the pinnacle of their careers, and the countdown has started. Who have you got? So that's it for today's movie. If you loved it, please leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell symbol so you don't miss any future videos, and don't forget to share your ideas in the comments. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next film.